What's up guys, Damian Keyes here. So today we are talking about getting rich as a musician. That's right, I am gonna make a disgusting video about getting rich. Now make no bones, this is not about making money as a musician. This is about getting rich, top end level. And I know I am gonna get a lot of hate in the comments for this video, but I also want to make this video because I think people want to know whether you do it, whether you don't do it. I think people have this idea of what you have to do to get rich as a musician. So that is what we're delving into today. Now, before we get started, I want to go into that classic Damo Venn diagram, which this circle here, this is your art, it's your passion, it's what you love to do, it's your music. And this circle over this side, this is your money. This is how you're going to survive, make enough money, whether it's job, music, etc. And then there's this intersection right in the middle where they both collide. This is the sweet spot. This is the money shot. This is where you get to do what you love and your passion, but in doing so, this bit here makes you the money at the same time. Now, this can happen. We're talking, you know, Royal Blood and Muse, they get to play the music that they want, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica, but in doing so, they also happen to be rich and famous whilst doing it. We are not looking at the sweet spot. What we are looking is how you can guarantee getting rich somehow with your music. So I'm going to start with a word of warning, which is be careful what you wish for, because in your quest for rich, not making money, in your quest for rich, you are going to have to make some sacrifices, some big sacrifices. All of a sudden, all of our decision making, everything that we are doing is now going towards rich as opposed to art and as opposed to money. Now, this is a different level of thinking, which means you are going to be doing stuff you didn't want to do. You are going to be gigging in places you didn't want to gig. You'll probably be going to have to go where the money is that you didn't want to have to go when you got into playing. So be very, very careful. If it were me, I think there's better ways and better industries to do to actually make money and get rich. But that said, this is a video of how you can get rich as a musician. Tip number one, I am starting with the most important thing, the big one. I'm starting with one word: control. If you want to be rich, not make money, you have to have control, which means you have to have some kind of ownership. We are not talking about someone who turns up, does a job and go away again. Those are the people that make money. They're not the people who are rich. If you look up the ladder, the people who get rich are the people who own the thing. They have the control. The more responsibility, the more ownership, the more money. Therefore, if you want to get rich, you have to have total control. If you look at the music industry, the big artists, they have the control, they have the money. The musicians who turn up and play for them, they make a really, really good living. But that's not what we're going for. We're going for the rich. And if you look above them, the people who own the music, the record labels, all of a sudden they're making even more money. So control is everything. If you think that you can be a non-committed musician and just turn up and do some stuff, then sadly, you're going to make a living, you're going to have some fun, you're going to do what you love, but you're never, ever going to get rich. Tip number two, time is money. Now, musicians think they sell their music and their art, or they want to sell music and art. But if you think about it, most of us musicians are selling time, which means if I go and do a gig, then I get paid for that time as a gig. If I teach someone, I get paid for the hour or the time that I am teaching something. Very rarely does it get paid forward. Now, I know this can happen. For example, if you write music and that gets used and eventually you're getting some kind of royalty checks, I do understand that. But on the whole, a lot of us musicians get paid for our time. So you need to be brutal with what your hourly rate is for each of the things that you do, and then you need to pursue the best hourly rate. I'll give you an example for that. You do a bit of teaching, you do some covers, you do some writing, you do some session work. Which is the thing that's bringing you in the most hourly rate? At that point, that's what you're going to go after, because you're going to go after the most amount of money for the shortest amount of time. And in doing so, it means that then you can maximize your time making the most amount of money, which leads us on to the next point. Tip number 3, financial decisions. It's not just about making money, it's about what you do with that money. And you can make it rich starting with small acorns. Because what you need to do is you need to make your money work for you. If you have money in the bank, that money is effectively like workers who are not doing anything at all. Whereas if you get your money invested and you're getting it to work for you, it will make more money. So therefore, what you do with the money is more important than what you're doing to make that money. Now, whilst you're making the money and you want the money to work for you, obviously there's things like real estate and there's things like stocks and shares, but it doesn't have to be that high-end level. It can be many, many ways where you are starting to invest your money in yourself, in your own business, allowing you to take the next step up into making more money. Because again, we are on a quest to get rich, not just a quest to make money. So when it comes to investments, there's a guy who is on YouTube that I really think you guys should watch. It's a guy called Graham Stephan, or if you're in the UK, Graham Stephen with a PH. I'll put a link below. Really great guy, makes YouTube videos every day, but I love his practical approach. He comes from that kind of Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad kind of approach. And the idea is spend as little money as possible and utilize the money that you have got into making more money. And he's loads of practical tips. But one of the things I would say for you guys is, again, you're not here to make money, you're here to get rich. So therefore, if you're going to invest, you need to invest in things that make money and not investing in things which are just because you love to do them. Just because you love guitars, investing in guitars is probably not the best way to make more money unless A, you really know what you're doing or you're a music shop. If you're going to invest in being a record label or other musicians, you're talking big gambles. And in the music industry, that's very, very tough. So learning about investing and getting the money that you are making to make more money outside of music is key. So we're halfway through, and how are you feeling? Because this is a disgusting, dirty video, but I want to make the point is if you want to make art, if you want to make music, if you do want to do what you love, that's fine. But if you do want to get rich, you have to realize the sacrifice. And so what we're talking about today is that sacrifice. Whether you want or don't want to do it is totally fine. But if you do, dirty. Tip number 4 is scalability. How can what you are doing be scalable so that you can grow it? So effectively, you are not the guitar teacher. You are the school. You are not the bass player in the band. You own the band and you own the recordings and you own the PA and you own the van. So that it goes back to point number 1, which is the control and the ownership. Effectively, if you want to grow something, it has to be scalable. Now I know this because I have done it several times. Yes, I've taught bass players, but I also own the university. I have played in a covers band, but also I own a management company that owns 30 different bands and does 1,500 gigs. And I know people are watching going, I hate all of this stuff, but that is what it takes to get rich. Again, we're not talking about what we love, we are talking about how to get rich. And there's another point here, which is once you've got rich, you can spend as much time and effort and money on the arty bit as you want. If you want to go in the studio every single day and create and make wonderful music because it's all about the art, you can. Because what the money does, it gives you freedom. It allows you that time and the freedom to be able to create and make and do all of the great stuff that you want, which is nothing to do with money, it's all to do with art. But it does very much help. So yeah, in tip number 4, we are talking about, as musicians, we hate the man. Whereas if you want to get rich, you are the man. So it's not about actually making money, it's about becoming the man. Because if you are the man, then everyone works for you. Everyone is paying you. That is how you can scale up to get rich. And tip number 5, and this one is a big one, especially for me making this video, and that is not giving a shit. Because when you are on your quest for getting rich, not making money, not making art, getting rich and being tunnel focused towards this, people will not like it. They will not like the dirtiness of it. And if you succeed, they will not like you for making all of that crazy money when they don't have it. So you are gonna get hate. You are gonna get stick. If you are on YouTube, it's gonna be in the comments below. But If you don't give a shit and it's water off a duck's back, then you can do it. As soon as you start worrying about what people think of you wanting to get rich, it will hamper you massively. An experiment. Go up to your friends next week, and when they say how you're doing, you say to them, I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get rich. Not make money, I'm gonna get rich. People will want to do one thing. They'll either want to laugh at you or they'll want to punch you in the face, or probably a little bit of both. You are not in the making money industry anymore. You are in the getting rich section. And in doing so, that means you have to be able to stand up and say, these are the decisions I make, and it not be swayed by other people's thoughts about you. So if you look at someone like Ray Kroc, for example, from McDonald's, Ray Kroc went into a university and he said, to all the students, he said, what industry am I in? And all the students were like, you're in the burger industry, you're in the fast food industry. And he said, no, I'm in the property industry, because the burgers are a means to be able to own the property, and there's more money in the property than there is in the burgers that I sell day to day. And tip number 6 is obviously to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. What is a whoa? So now that we've gone through those tips, how does that make you feel? Are you prepared to sacrifice your art and your music and your passion in order to pursue that quest of getting rich? Probably not. Most people aren't. And I have to say, I'm not recommending it. I think the best times I ever had as a musician were probably when it was about the music, when it wasn't about money, when it wasn't how I made a living, when it wasn't anything other than me just enjoying music for music. And when you start adding money into it, as you guys will probably agree, it doesn't always feel as fun. It doesn't feel as good. And so there are plenty of ways in this world where you can make money. There's plenty of ways in this world that you can get rich. The question is, do you want to do that with your passion and your love and your hobby and your music? So thanks for watching. If you can like and subscribe, or if you don't like it, you can dislike it. I know I am going to get some stick in the comments for this video, and that's fine. This is just answering a question which I know a lot of people are thinking about. So do me a favor, come and get involved in the comments. Tell me how much you dislike this, or how much you like it, or what you are doing to get to those riches. But thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.